What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Your Story. We're here with the OG legend, Sylvia Farrow from Force Films in Savannah, Georgia, and the cutest little pup ever, Mr. Nico. Thanks for joining us, buddy.
Yes.
So Sylvia, thanks for having us.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's an honor.
Yeah. So just to give you guys some preference too, we are next to a military base, so you're probably going to hear some Blackhawks flying over. We got a dog place next door and some kids on the other side. So if there is some noise in the background, that's what it is. But we're obviously going to give you as much content as possible.
Absolutely.
Here. So Sylvia, you've been in this industry for almost coming up on 40 years almost.
Yeah.
So how did you get started in kind of this crazy world that we're all part of?
So I got started, I had a relative of mine, a cousin of mine that my ex and I actually started working for in the business. They eventually went out of the business, and when my ex and I got a divorce, he decided to go to a different route and do something else. And it was just by default, kind of, that I am still in the business and kept it going. But it's been an amazing journey, a lot of growth, a lot of, I'm somewhat of an introvert by nature. And so it took a lot of courage as a woman to walk in a dealership full of men. That I had to get over that. But I found that, I was stronger and better if I just take a deep breath and go after it anyway. So here I am.
That's awesome.
Still here.
And if we go back all the way to, when you first got started with your ex and getting into the business, what were you guys doing initially?
Initially, we were just mobile only, doing pinstriping, graphics, and I don't know if you remember rivet on body side moldings.
No, what's that?
Yeah. You don't want to know, but it's actually where we would rivet in the side of a car, and it had an aluminum channel, and you put the vinyl in there, and it was a molding. That was the thing. So I know I'm really dating myself.
You are.
But we eventually did sunroofs, and we did a lot of things that I currently kind of weeded out, that I decided, well, I'm not going to do that anymore. And rivet on body side moldings is sort of like, well, I can't say bell bottoms because they're popular now, but it was a trend that is no longer, actually. So that was kind of our start, and we would travel around to all the dealerships and do the work there on the premises, and that's how we got started. So, and I decided to keep going, and I was still mobile, and basically I concentrated on pinstriping, and later I decided I would go more into graphics and that type of thing, more custom things. I loved the part where I would go in dealerships and show them different stripe packages and things like that, and how to change the look of a vehicle, and that was really satisfying, because I could see a car and then afterwards see the difference in the changes. But all was done mobile. It was a mobile service.
And I can only imagine, the mobile side of it having some struggles with weather and everything else. What were some of the things that you faced?
That is indeed a struggle. So, cold winter was a really tough challenge, because there's only so much give in the vinyl, but also the heat too. So over 20 years I worked, and most of the time as a single parent, it was 6 days a week. And as long as there were cars out there to stripe, I would constantly be out on the dealership, because I had some dealerships that would do every car on their lot. And as soon as I'd see a load of cars come, I'm like, okay, let's get started. I gotta keep it up. It was almost a fear in me to not succeed. So it's kind of like one of those things when you're in the middle of it, you don't realize it. Then when you look back, you look at yourself and say, well, how did I manage? How did I do that? But it prepared me. It developed a lot of qualities in me: perseverance, not having to take it personal when I got no's, but it made me stronger to go back and try again and keep trying. So all those were challenges.
And you were building this all up on your own?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And before social media, before it was basically word of mouth and just my continually going in dealerships that said no before, but I'm back again. And I wanted to show them, okay, you might say no to me, but I'm going to be back. I'm going to come back. And I just kept repetitively doing that. And to this day, I have some dealerships that I've doing business with for 40 years.
Jeez.
Still.
How have you been able to, because dealerships, what a lot of people see is turnover.
Right.
So how have you been able to keep those relationships going for this long?
Well, a lot, like you said, salespeople come and go for sure, but owners, GMs, they'll have a little bit longer career path, especially, of course, the owner. So some of those people, they know me, and I like my business partner reiterated before, we're honorable people, and I never did things that were underhanded. I had competitors that would pay under the table, that type of thing, and I never compromised on that. So I'd lose business, but end up eventually coming back to me by doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and being a woman, and what I'm so impressed by is not just being in this industry for 40 years, but being in an industry that's super male dominated. What are some of the struggles that you've been facing over the last 40 years, and especially at the beginning too, which I can only imagine?
Yeah. So it was honestly a fine line that I had to navigate between being told don't ever come back when salespeople or salesmen or managers would say certain things, being flirtatious or what have you. And as we, our industry, it's kind of known for that. So I had to navigate that and figure out, well, how can I still be in there to actually do business without making them angry and mad at me. So that was always like a fine line, but also at the same time not compromise the kind of person that I am. That I'm not going to do things just to get business. So that's kind of my philosophy about it, and it's worked out very well. Now I feel like that it took years to get there, but the respect is what was so important to me, what I wanted.
And what did it take to, I can only imagine, get respect in these places?
Yeah, it really did. I feel like you teach people how to treat you. So it wasn't a matter of me going to dealerships, and I'm not their buddy. I'm not one to tell the dirty jokes to or that type of thing. But it's once they learn that and you teach people that, you really, it's true, earn the respect. And that's really paid off for me. So they don't look at me as just something that is just come in there and expect to get the business because I'm a female. I really know what I'm doing and have proven that many years over.
And how long did it take you to kind of build your craft? Because I've watched some pinstripers, and especially at the time, I'm like, this is beyond an art. Especially when there's no lines and they're doing all freehand work, and I was like, it's magical just to even watch it go down.
Well, I'm not going to lie to you. When I first got started, it would take me about 30 minutes to pinstripe a car.
Is that a long time?
That's a long time. Especially when you did it so much, you could pinstripe a car under 2 minutes. I mean, literally.
Wow.
My daughter, Sheena, she's even faster than me. I haven't recorded or timed her in a while, but she's even faster.
Just freehand.
Freehand,
Yep.
yeah. So it's like anything else. The more you do it multiple times over and over and over and over. Of course, I was more concentrated on doing it correctly and the quality of it, and speed will come. The speed will come. But yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful to watch. I always loved watching the pinstripe. We have a guy that's local that's been doing it for a long time, and it's really cool seeing him bring in his little case, open it up, sit down in a chair, and just go to work.
And Sheena's kind of, my daughter is kind of entered into a field that I never really did. She does paint pinstripes, which is a whole different ball game. I only did vinyl, which is what dealers wanted. They wanted something fast, quick, cheap, and I'm not going to lie to you. Back when I started, we were charging $8 and $10 a car.
Oh my gosh!
And they complained about me going up to $12 a car. So it's a lot better now.
Oh yeah. Well, speaking of Sheena too, and you have 2 other kids as well. Which we did another your story on. Work-life balance. I can only imagine what it's like being a mom and then having 3 kids and hustling for every dollar, and then knowing that you got to go home to 3 kids. So, give us a little insight on that in those beginning years when, before they were 18 and kind of on their own.
Oh, wow, yeah. I had the mentality that I'm going to do this, And even if I have to wait on tables at night, I'm going to do this. Because I didn't get any financial support with all 3 of them. It was such pressure that it was do or die, honestly. And it was a big responsibility that was on me. But I look back on it, and it was good for me. It made me hustle. It made me be a great time manager. I had a goal that by 12, I should have made X amount of dollars by the end of the day. That was my goal every single day. And just about every single day, I would do it. So it taught me a lot of things. It was just some good things that I went through those years. They were tough. But I wouldn't take it back now for anything. I used to hear people say that, and I'm like, yeah, right. But it's true.
So what are the few of those things that you kind of learned when raising your kids and being in the dealership and having, knowing that you had to go home at 5 o'clock, whatever time it was, to be with your children?
It was time management, definitely, to do a work balance situation, because being a single parent, I was there for their field trips. I was there for pretty much whatever they needed. I think they always knew that I was going to make whatever they were doing, that I also had them as a priority. But I also had the pressure of making sure financially that we're good, we're taken care of. Hard work, just hard work. And there is no overnight success. That is so true. But I also worked, because I am an introvert and I'm, believe it or not, shy. It taught me how to go in and talk to people. So my sales skills, I definitely had to work on those and learn the whole dealership lingo, their language. That was a learning curve. So all of that was part of it. And I think that I have a good kind of read of a situation. Every dealership is like a snowflake. They're all different. The person that makes the decisions are different. The person that is in charge of each and everything that I may offer I have to find out who that decision maker is, and then get to know them. Relationship definitely helped me to learn how to build on that at a business level.
And because relationship is, I'm a big advocate of relationships. Like, relationships always come first, especially in the dealership setting too.
Yes.
What are some tips that you can give that are like, hey, when you're first going into one of these meetings, it's very overwhelming when you're walking to a dealership. And it's like, who do I talk to? What do I say?
Right.
Right? What do I go in with prepared?
Yeah.
So you've been doing it long enough where do you have a structure in place on when you're walking in?
Well, now it's a little different for me, because just about everybody in Savannah knows me, so it's not like new a dealership that I have to go in.
Yeah.
So it is a little different now, but for someone that's just starting out, you're going to have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. And finding out who the decision makers are is important, because you could spend a lot of time at the GM level, and he's going to tell you, okay, well, go talk to my finance manager. I put them in charge of that, or my sales manager, or the used car manager. So that's kind of like a fact-finding session to go on to find out, who do I really want to build this relationship with? Who do I talk to? But it's like, and if you're there, your presence is there at a dealership enough and repeatedly, people start approaching you. And I also feel like, don't underestimate the value of building up relationships, if you can, with salespeople, because a lot of times, believe it or not, they just like to see you do well, and they'll help you out. They'll give you, customers and so forth. If you really go in and get to know them and try to talk to them and let them feel like, or they are, important. So that's always good. And like I said, just over the years, it's changed a lot, I would say, but the core is, honestly, I still feel like building that relationship. People will buy from people they like.
Yeah.
And that's been a good part for me. I've never really been thrown off a dealership lot or anything like that. So they may say no, but eventually they find out when you are there consistently, I can really count on this person. Build up that. even if they say no to you, we're not interested, just come stop in a week or two, a couple every 2 weeks or so. Not to harass them, but just let people see you there. That's always been helpful too.
Would you say that relationship's definitely the number one? Without the relationship, there'd be no way
Absolutely.
that 40 years later you'd still be walking in the same dealers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. Definitely.
So getting back to the work-life balance, how is it that you're able to separate? Because so many detailers get caught, or just business owners get caught up in the work life, and even when they go home, it's very difficult for them to separate home from work. How have you been able to do that over
I think that part has been somewhat easy for me because I love my kids. And if I talk about them, I might cry. I'm emotional about that. I'm passionate about my family. And it was important to me. I know that I needed to provide for them, but they were first. And the reason I had to be there and be consistent was them. So my relationship with them was just, we still are all very close to this day. And they adore me.
They do. Yeah.
And I adore them, and they know how important that relationship is. So I feel like it wasn't a thing that I had to do. Oh, I have to go spend time with my kids. It just happened because it was good for us. I mean, it was all of us enjoyed each other's company. So we all love each other, but we also like each other. So that part was, I think, somewhat easy for me.
Yeah, we've seen that too, hanging out with you and your family, that there's just love and support all around.
Yeah.
And when one person's doing something, everyone comes in to support that, no matter what it is.
That is so true.
Right, even outside the work life,
Yep.
it doesn't matter if it's a competition or
Yep.
if you guys are just going to a local store, everyone's just always there.
Absolutely.
Which is so cool to see and so cool to follow your family dynamic.
Yeah.
'Cause it's beautiful to be
Thank
there.
you.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is beautiful.
Well, another crazy thing is that you are, if you were to put your name out there, which so many people do, they try to become the face of the industry, right? And you've taken a total different way of life when it comes to that, because there really was no, hey, I need to be the top social media person. I've been around for 40 years. I've been doing Expel since, what was it, 2002?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're like one of the original people to ever put their hands on the film.
Yeah.
So what was it for yourself and maybe something's changed, since then, but what was it for you that was like, hey, I don't really need to be the face of this industry. I just need to do what I do here and build this business?
I think I never really viewed myself as I have to be the top anything. And maybe that's a fault, I'm not sure, but I competed with myself. I felt like I had to answer to me with the kind of work that I do and how good I am at it. I always felt like when I left a dealership, I wanted people to say, wow, I'm really glad that she was in here. I wanted to uplift them, say something positive. Maybe they had a bad day. Even if I didn't get any business, I wanted it to be a positive experience and leave with a smile on their face. And be interested in them, find out what's going on with them. So that part of it, I never really viewed myself as, oh, my face and my name has to be on it, because I have such an amazing team now that I could not accomplish any of this without them. I am just giving them a platform to grow upon, but one person is just one person. So, yeah.
And how has the business changed? G-Force came to be how long ago?
10 years.
And what's the name behind G-Force? What's the meaning behind G-Force?
So my middle name is Gail, and we were trying to come up with a name, and James liked the idea of Gale Force Films. So our LLC is Gale Force Films, and we just abbreviate it for G-Force. So my name is tied on it. And people think it's G-A-L-E, it's G-A-I-L.
I'm happy we put that out there.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And to give some context, James is now your business partner who
Yes.
came into your life, 10 years ago now?
Well, as a business associate, yes, or partner, but we knew each other 20 years plus before that. And again, I think like people attract like people. So he's like me in a lot of ways. I'm very fortunate to have him as a business partner. He is an honorable person. He's honest, and neither one of us question each other really on those things. We know there are certain core values that we have, so that carries on into our business. We want to treat people, our entire team, as they should be, which is talented artists. I mean, it really is an art.
Yeah.
So we respect that, we value that, and yes, he and I were, where his weaknesses are, I might be strong, and where my weaknesses are, he's strong. He's great at math, by the way. I'm not good at that. So yeah, he's phenomenal. It's been a good challenge. I mean, not a good challenge. Challenging, yes, but it's been a good match for us. It really has.
And what was that decision for you to realize that, hey, it's probably a good time to bring, because after at that time it was 30 years in the industry, right? When was the right time to be like, okay, I need some help here. I need somebody to come in and bring this to the next level?
So probably in the year maybe 2001, 2000, I went to SEMA and by myself, and I just saw paint protection film. I think Expel was there, maybe 3M was there, that was it. And I just looked at it. No one told me anything about it. I didn't know anything about it. I just went to the booth and started talking to, Expel and so forth. And I just had a gut feeling that one day it was going to be big. I can't base that on research or anything, but it just looked like it made sense to me. It was like, why wouldn't you put something on your car that's going to protect it? That's like one of the largest investments people make in their lives is their vehicle. So it really made a lot of sense to me, but I also hated doing it. It was not for me to be an installer, even though I did it, and I'm glad I did. But bringing James in, I asked him, I was like, it's not for everybody, but maybe look at this. This is the area that I want to expand because I feel like there's plenty growth out there. And we're the only specialized shop in our city for paint protection film. So my gut instinct paid off, and James happened to love it initially.
I think he still does.
Yeah, he still does. But so yeah, that's how it came about, and the partnership was. It enabled for me when I was able to let go of installations. He went to Las Vegas and got training, but it enabled me to be out and sell. So whereas before I was selling it and trying to install it. Sell a kit, then go home and cut it, and then the next day come back and try to install it. That's before we were on the DAP program or anything. But and there was like the first year or two, wow, probably 5 years we didn't even pay ourselves.
Wow.
Yeah, it was, so that's how much it's grown.
Did you have a side job at the time, or just?
Well, I still had my mobile business where, it was come in. While I was out at dealerships with mobile, I was able to still, sell for our shop, for PPF, and eventually it just grew and grew and grew. But it took time. It just really took time and a lot of sacrifice, honestly.
So it's a hard decision for a lot of people to make, is letting go of something. But obviously you realized, and this is a great message, and this is how I build my business, is if I don't love it, I don't want to do it.
Right.
Right? There's somebody out there that does love to do what they do. And for you as the installation side of it, because you enjoyed, or at least were able to commit yourself to doing the other side of the business, that needed the growth.
Yeah. I knew that I was not going to be ever, my team, Brandy, Taylor, James, they're all better at it than I ever was. Yeah. Because I didn't love doing it. But I understand it. So when they're in the shop working on things, I totally understand how film goes on, how it works, the issues you're having. So me being an installer prepared me for that. Whereas if I never did it, I probably wouldn't understand, well, why is this taking so long? What's going on, It looks like it would be not too hard to do, but it's an artisan skill. Yeah. It really is.
Truthfully. And it takes time.
Yes, it does.
And looking at the same color.
Yeah.
For many days at a time. Especially when you get back-to-back black Teslas.
Right.
It's a lot of black to look at for a couple of days.
Even for Taylor, my wrap installer, it's like, look at this color that you really don't like for a week at a time.
That's tough.
Right.
It's a strain. Well, to pull back to, you mentioned at SEMA, which you've been going to for how long now?
Oh, gosh. I think I took Chelsea to her first SEMA. Man, it's over 20 years ago.
That's awesome.
Yeah, 25 years ago, I would say. And the first time I went, that's when my daughter Chelsea wanted to come on board and work with me. And I told her, you're not going to get a real true picture of the industry till you go to SEMA. Then you realize how much larger it really is.
Was SEMA as big then as it is now, would you say?
No,
Okay,
I would not
so it's
say.
grown.
Yeah, oh, for sure, for sure. And back when SEMA when I first started going, the halls were not divided into categories. So you would walk down the hall and there would be rims, and then there would be stripes, and then there would be truck accessories. You just had to walk the entire show. There was nothing that was in categories. They changed that later. But it gave her a huge, a fresh look at the industry and what was out there, what people were doing, and how big it really was. Instead of looking at it from a local standpoint, we're just a local business. I wanted her to see that, and she really caught on. I mean, she saw the potential, and she's been running ever since.
Oh, I know. She's part of SEMA now.
Yeah,
with the culture and everything else.
Exactly.
So what when you walk into SEMA, I mean, maybe it's changed in the last 25 years of being there, but do you have a mission when you go into this, or is it all relationship building and just seeing what's kind of new?
I do, and I find that someone gave me some advice years ago that said, if you come back and just implement 2 good ideas or products, because sometimes when you go into SEMA, it's so overwhelming. You think, oh my God, we could be doing this or we could do that, and add that to our business. And then you end up doing nothing. But if you have a goal, I'm going to come away with something, an idea or a product, maybe 1 or 2 things, then if you go every year and then zone in on that and really work at that and get to know that, then you'll be successful. And that's kind of like where I aim now. I don't go to SEMA usually every year. I usually go every other year, just because of that. I don't want it to feel like, well, I'm going to SEMA, so what? I want it to always be exciting to me.
Yeah.
So that's what I go for.
Well, I love that. Well, we're going to take a break here for a second, because much like the Avens and my family and your family, we're super close-knit. It just so happens to be that Sheena's here too.
Yes.
So we want to bring her on, and because she's a badass just like you.
Yes, she is.
But we definitely want to bring her in and get her perspective too, and,
that's
and hear a little
awesome.
bit about her story as well. So
Yep.
we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back.
Okay.
All right, everybody, welcome back. As you can tell here, we added our 3rd wheel, Miss Sheena. And of course, Nico's back. So Sheena, thanks for joining us, your story.
Absolutely.
And I can only imagine the honor it is to have your mom on your side right now, the badass of the industry, and growing up. And how was it being her daughter and kind of now joining the business and making it into a daily life for yourself?
Well, I didn't really care for the business at first. I mean, none of us did, I don't think. And then it was like once we started venturing off and doing our own thing and didn't have the time that we wanted or liked, the flexibility with the business side of it or being self-employed, I said, let me try this thing out. So here we are 20 years later.
Wow. And what was it like growing up and having your mom? Because we talked about work-life balance with your mom, and her actually being able to be a mom while, single mom at that. While working her ass off during the day.
Yeah.
What was it like growing up? Did you ever, notice that struggle that she was going through?
No, not at all. Just, I mean, if I had recitals or anything, field trips, lunch dates, she's there, So that's what I wanted for my children as well.
Yeah. And what is it like now too? Because, you have 4 kids of your own.
Yes.
What is it being, a woman business owner yourself and raising 4 children?
It's a lot. It is a lot. Don't recommend it to do it again. But they don't understand the struggle either. I'm able to make it look easy as mom displayed that for me as well. Just being able to manage all the things that we do, and it's been amazing. I'm very proud of all the accomplishments I have.
Yeah. And you have a lot of things outside of just the detailing world too that you've accomplished.
Yes.
Can you talk about a few of those?
Okay, so besides Stripes, etc., I have a fitness studio, and so with that has taught me a lot of discipline, motivation. Recently, I'm a Lululemon ambassador as well.
Love my Lulu.
Huge, yeah,
Who doesn't?
Huge accomplishment. Just a lot of hard work and being a mom and all the things, and being very hands-on with everything that I'm doing. I really enjoy the work. So
yeah.
Yeah.
And Sylvia, how cool is it being a mom and watching your children thrive.
Well, I'm still waiting on the Lululemon discount, but I haven't got that yet. But
To be continued.
no, it's amazing because she's a phenomenal mom, first and foremost. Her navigating between the car industry, what she's doing with that, and owning her own fitness studio, I look at it sometimes and I'm thinking, how does she do it? But she does it, and she does it well, and she's a hard worker. She works really hard.
So she and I had a conversation, or I asked your mom a little earlier in our conversation too, about, with you and all your accolades and now getting the spotlight in your industry and the fitness side of it with your Lulu ambassadorship. Your mom's been in this industry for 40 years, and she's a badass in this industry. And she's been around much longer. She's probably a one of one when it comes to that. But a lot of people today are all about putting their faces out there, doing all the social media, doing the Instagram, trying to become as famous as possible, but your mom's done the opposite. So can you speak about kind of all the accolades that you've seen your mom have over those last 40 years and how she really hasn't needed to put her face out there, but with you guys, she's been spotlighted forever.
Yeah. Well, she doesn't give herself enough credit, that's for sure. She's total badass, and we all look up to her, and she doesn't think she's built this legacy, but she has, not only, with my sister, myself, my brother, but everybody that works at G-Force and with James, and it's just like, this is from her. This is your baby. This is what you've built, and I really want her to take that every day and look at the lives that she's impacting. But it's really, in this industry, we've been able to survive because of her. I mean, everybody knows that they're going to get something for their car. They don't even say G-Force. They're like, Sylvia. Let's call Sylvia's. So our reputation and the connections that we have with our dealerships and just our customers, she's built that and continues to build that, and that's our strong point, is how we're able to survive, is her word of mouth and her good customer service. And sometimes it drives us crazy because I'm like, we don't have to get to this person right now, but she's like, nope, she does what she's doing. That's why she's got her 40 years in the game.
And we always speak of legacy too, and you kind of nailed it right there, but usually I would be asking Sylvia about her legacy, but for this one I'm going to ask you, what's kind of the legacy, just even outside the business too, that your mom's left imprinted on you?
She's always reinventing herself. Whether or not she knows this or not, she doesn't give up. I didn't know it was going to get emotional.
See, we both do that. We both have it.
But I really just want her to know, how much she's left for us. Not only just us as children, but her grandchildren. And she's really just striving and just a great person, good heart, and that feeds through everything that she does.
Well, I love you guys. I love this family dynamic.
Thank you.
Oh, we love you guys.
Yeah.
I mean, this has been so amazing. I guess in talking to all of you, I do feel very privileged almost that you're here, that you're honoring us like this. So we are so grateful, and we're so thankful that you guys have spent the day with us. We really are.
Oh, we've had a blast.
Yeah.
It's cool when you meet people whose values and way of life,
Yes.
all intertwine.
Yes.
And like I said, we're all family first, and
Yes.
family comes before everything. So,
Yep.
well, I appreciate you both so much.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate
And I
you.
appreciate your whole family. We've
Yes.
covered everybody.
I know.
This is great. So thank you all for being part of this. Thank you for opening up your shop. Thank you for everyone here at G-Force. That's really put on this spectacular show for us. So thanks so
Yeah.
much.
Thank you.
So as always, people, please like, subscribe, share this. Thank you to the Avens family, everyone over at You're Able. Thank you for Cinescope for allowing us to put this together. If you have any questions, please reach out. And as always, guys, keep shining. Thanks. Thanks so
you.
much. Yeah. Come here, Nico. Thank you for you too, bud.
Right.